This is Dave Kale. I'd like to talk about corporate culture today, and I'm going to share with you three, I believe, essential steps to building a positive corporate culture. You know, building a successful business requires serious focus, I think, on four fundamental components. The first is infrastructure, the systems, the people, and the money that form your infrastructure. But the thread that ties all those together and really unleashes their power is the culture, corporate culture. So if we're going to build a successful business, it means we have to set time aside to intentionally create each of those four pieces. And this intentionality and willfulness regarding the guidance and creation of the building blocks of a good business is one of the characteristics of successful companies. They devote intentional and willful time and effort to creating systems, people, money, and culture. And in mediocre companies, it's been my experience that principals often find themselves heavily invested in the transactions of the business. And they discover that their systems, in retrospect, have been created by the people on the firing lines without guidance from the head of the business. They find the people they have were primarily hired in times of crisis, and the money or lack of it, that's one of the key measurements of the success of the business, is a result of their lack of attention to the fundamentals. It's possible to reach a point in the development of a business where we feel like the project is essentially completed, where our systems are, while our systems are never as good as they could be, and of course they can be tweaked continually, at some point we can say, in regards to our systems, we can say something like, there, that's done, pretty much done. And then we can move on to some other investment of our time. And it's possible to feel that same way about the people we employ. We can eventually arrive at a position where we think, at the moment, my people are sufficient to the task in front of them. I don't need to spend a lot of time finding new people. We can get there. And the same is true for money. We can arrive at a level of maturation where we can trust the information we have. We can sleep at night knowing that the business is solvent, the income streams are steady, and the payables are well in hand. Unfortunately, that is not true of the corporate culture. It's a much more slippery thing to get our arms around. If we liken the systems and the people and money to the bones and muscles of a body, culture is the heart that sends the blood to all the parts and empowers them to function the way we had hoped. Culture energizes and focuses the people to work the systems and bring in the money and achieve the company goals. Culture is about implementation. We can be flush with cash, have the greatest people, the most efficient systems, but if our culture is detrimental, we'll be continually frustrated in putting those things in action. So let's begin with a definition of culture. Here's from the Inc. Encyclopedia, quote, corporate culture refers to the shared values, attitudes, standards, and beliefs that characterize members of an organization and define its culture. Corporate culture is rooted in an organization's goals, strategies, structure, and approaches to labor, customers, investors, and the greater community. As such, it is an essential component in any business's ultimate success or failure. So, like a strong heart and clear blood vessels are essential to good health, so a positive corporate culture is essential to business success. Just like maintaining a healthy heart is a process, not an event, so too creating and nurturing a positive business culture is a never-ending project. So here's three keys from my 30-plus years of consulting with over 500 different sales organizations. Here's three keys that I am going to recommend. Three keys to building a positive corporate culture. Number one, accept the responsibility to craft the culture. It's your responsibility. As a principal or key executive, the responsibility to craft and maintain a positive corporate culture is one of your key jobs. And some people claim it is the key job. In mediocre companies, the culture often arises and takes shape in reaction to crises. As one crisis after another is handled, the attitudes and behaviors that resolve those crises get repeated until they become the unspoken rules of the company. Eventually, those unspoken rules get solidified. No one intentionally created it. It just arose out of the urgent tactics instead of thoughtful strategy. I've seen that over and over. In successful companies, however, the culture proceeds from the top down and is intentionally crafted and nurtured by the principles. That's your job. So that's number one, accept the responsibility. Number two, what do you do? How do you do that? You begin by articulating the culture you want. That's why these foundational documents, the vision, mission, and value statements are so important. They put into print for everyone to see the deepest and dearest motivations of the company. Without a written document to set the stage, it's difficult for people, your employees, your stakeholders, your customers, it's difficult for them to guess what is most important in your organization. So I recommend you write out the three foundational documents, a vision, mission, and value statement, and then put into writing the details of the corporate culture you would like to have in your organization. See, when you write it down, it forces you to be precise. And precision is a good thing. So now that you've got some things down on paper, then, and this goes forever, now you proactively manage the culture. Think rewards and punishments. Since culture shapes and stimulates human behavior, seek opportunities to identify when someone acted in sync with the corporate culture. For example, if exceptional customer service is part of your culture, then look for people who delivered exceptional customer service. Reward that person with recognition, if not something more substantial, at least recognition. Tell a story in a company newsletter, company meeting. Hold the person up for praise and recognition in front of his or her peers. Make this a regular discipline on your part. I mean, you can do this once a month. Some of the stories of real people acting in real situations will be so compelling that they will take on the status of corporate lore, serving to guide generations of stakeholders to the kind of behavior you want. Then again, on the other hand, when you or your management team see someone acting in violation of the corporate culture, step in and deliver a reprimand. Your message should be that the culture is not just something to talk about, but it's the heartbeat of the organization, and it will be protected and nurtured. That's your job. Continually reward and punish. A positive corporate culture supplies the blood flow to every aspect of the business. Like a human heart, its health should be top of the mind for every serious executive. Okay? Hey, that's it. We're done for today. Bye-bye.